As the estate agency market continues to get busier and busier, it's becoming increasingly important that companies have a very clear sense of where they're positioned in the market and an equally clear strategy for how they're going to cut through the noise and really engage with their audience. So I just want to run through a few different examples of how I believe many companies, particularly on a local level, but equally to some extent on a national level as well, are failing to do this, and also offer some potential remedies. So the first thing I want to talk about is brand identity itself, as one of the first things you'll notice when you open up a bunch of websites in this sector is that so many of them are communicating more or less the same message. They're so scared of alienating anybody or saying anything remotely remotely contentious that they communicate an incredibly bland message that isn't ultimately going to cut through the noise and appeal to anyone in particular. So for me, this is where it needs to begin. There's no point jumping ahead to social media or email or PR or influencer marketing or anything else until you have a really clear sense of what it is that you're trying to communicate that's different, that's unique, that's compelling. And it all begins with your brand purpose. So when I say brand purpose, what I mean is, what is your reason for existing? What is it that you believe is fundamentally broken about the industry that you're going to fix, that you're going to do differently? This is such an important question, and one that the vast majority of estate agents will fail to ever truly answer. But once you have, then you can start to build a rich brand identity, both from a visual perspective and also from a messaging perspective, that really will truly differentiate and define your market, define your business, within the market as a whole. The second thing I want to talk about is from a search engine point of view, as both your customers and also your customers in terms of people buying property and the sellers of property will begin their journey on the search engines. So having a clear SEO strategy that brings these people in on both sides is absolutely essential to your performance online. Now, one of the most common mistakes I see with estate agents in this respect is their failure to have rich, dedicated landing pages to each different audience in each different location in which they operate, because people will search on a very specific basis. If they're looking for a property in one particular village or one particular town, that's how they're going to search. And therefore, if you don't have rich landing pages with all of your live content, your live property information pertaining to that particular search query, well, then you're not going to perform well in the search engines. Not only that, but even if you somehow did get your homepage or some other category page to rank, it's not going to offer a good user experience, and these people are unlikely to convert. So it's so important that you have a really rich, detailed landing page for each different kind of customer and each different location. And these should all be on what we call static URLs. They should be specific URLs built for that purpose. They shouldn't be generated dynamically, because if they are, then even if they exist to the user, they're not going to exist to the search engine. So you're making your website effectively far, far smaller than it should be from a search engine perspective. The final thing I want to touch upon is social media, because social media now, many estate agents, particularly the larger ones, have used it to develop another profitable route to market. So particularly on Facebook, we're seeing this. As long as they're in control of their numbers and they know the value of a lead, they're able to use Facebook as a way of targeting their specific audience and generating new leads, new opportunities within that figure that they know represents a profitable transaction. So it all comes down to being in control of your numbers and then being super specific, super granular with your targeting on these different social media platforms. So there are just a few of the ways in which companies can use digital to their advantage, but as I say, it all begins with understanding their brand, understanding their purpose as an organization.